Leo, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early February 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Leo collective. I hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for these beautiful Leos in early February? We're in Aquarius season. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Leo in early February. What's the vibe here for my good friends? Hopefully we keep up the momentum from last week. This card has been showing up speckled in for the past few weeks, and it is a card that I really like. Not sure if you've had it recently, but I always like when it shows up, even if it shows up like multiple times in a few weeks. It's the Helping Hands card. Now, there's a lot of layers to this proverbial onion, so it could talk about rest and recuperation. Huge spiritual energy. If you look at the image, I'm sure you could see why. But before we fully get into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the February subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as you can see, we have this lovely lady. It looks like she's having herself a little nap, sleeping. So again, watch the energy levels. Maybe you might need a few more hours of sleep if you haven't been getting much. This is a huge card that ties into dreams as well and imagination. But notice there are these hands that are surrounding her, this big golden orb of light protecting her. This is a huge card for spirits surrounding you and protecting you. Even if you're not the most spiritual person in the world, like we always have someone with us. I personally believe that. But to me, it's like we are protecting you, Leo. We are watching out for you. It feels shielded. Now, aside from the spiritual guidance and protection, I do call it the Helping Hands card. So for some of you, maybe there's a situation you're dealing with where it might go easier if you had a little bit of help. Or maybe someone's going to ask for your assistance in the short-term future. That's very possible when I see this card. But it does also deal with like sleep and imagination. It has that very etheric liminal space type of vibe. So again, watch your dreams in this time and make sure you're not burning the candle at both ends. But aside from that, this is a beautiful way to start because I feel protected and safe. So we're just going to let her keep having her little rest there. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Let's shuffle it up one time here for the beautiful Leo collective. And yeah, while we get this shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. So it was titled A Surprising Win. And I always say that wins, victories, they come in all different shapes and sizes. Sometimes you might just have some really great days, or sometimes it's great news you receive, or something monetary, something with career, personal relationships. It all depends. But the big theme I was picking up was something going either better than expected or something great coming in out of the blue, where it's like I'm just going through my day-to-day motions and then boom, oh, all right, I'll take that. So just know that energy could linger for a couple weeks, but we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone, so only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else. All right, let's get it going. 3 cards for the lovely Leos. What's happening? What is happening for our good friends? Please. Thank you. Okay. Slow. Very slow on the front end. And not a bad thing, right? Slow doesn't mean bad. But I usually like an action card in the first position, especially for fire sign readings like us, because usually we're like a little more results driven. And this Knight of Pentacles is like taking its sweet time. Let's get a couple more. Thank you. Oh, okay. What a switch. So we go from the Knight of Pentacles into the Tower. Okay, talk about a shift of energy. We got one. Okay, let's get one more here. See what we got. Thank you. Okay, 2 cards popped out. Big Sag vibes. All right, so we got Temperance here on the back end, which is good. That does tie into our spiritual protection narrative that we saw in the very beginning. And then also we have the beautiful, confident, sexy Queen of Wands herself chilling right here as a bonus card. So let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, believe it or not, even though we have the tower, I'm not very concerned because there's a lot of offsetting type of energy. But I always look at the elements first. And we have a pretty good mixture. We have earth, water, and fire. Cool. Especially the fire, that's the your comfort zone. That's your power element. But let's just go through because they could be important telling us how the energy is going to move overall. And we start here with the earth. Usually that's our sense of stability, sense of security. Earth energy does tie heavily into the material aspects of life. So we think of work, finances, career, business, all that type of stuff, day to day routine, home, living situation. So I always say if the world is a stage, the earthy energy is the stage that we play on, right? The downside to earth energy, it could be a little stuck. It could be an energy that's a little slow moving, a little too slow. But I mean, it definitely shakes up. We already see that. But in the center, we have water. Even though the tower looks like fire and brimstone, it's actually water element, big Scorpio vibes. And this is the realm of emotions, the internal self. We think of love, personal relationships, things that we care deeply for. We think of any sort of creativity or creative projects, thinking outside the box. So these energies completely oppose, right? We have like this very traditional still type of energy, and then this one like completely changes the game. On the back end, though, we do have fire with the Temperance card and the Queen of Wands. That's the realm of action. So the actions we take, actions other people take. Think of your internal passion, drive, desire, motivation. It's a vitality overflowing. Usually it's great, but the downside to this energy, it could be very unpredictable. It could be very out of the blue, very similar to this tower. So I'm intrigued to see how this all plays out. Let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we're starting with the Vigilant Knight of Pentacles. Now, for some of you, you might just be connected to an earth sign. And I find it intriguing that we go from like an energy that's not really doing much at all, and then everything all at once, and then it calms down. It's like forward, back, forward. It's like doing this little skipping with the way the energy flows. But the Knight of Pentacles, I think, can be very good. It's detail oriented. Now, the thing with the Knights, even though it's earthly, it does speak about action and communication. Those are the big things that all knights do. They're very similar to pages in that regard, where it could be a message, a talk, a conversation, um, or it could just be the progress with something. Remember, this is the slowest moving one. Now, I love it for its details. I love that it has a lot of staying power, but at the same time, this card can represent delays. This card specifically could just represent something that might be a problem or a situation that's not going how you'd like it to go. So we do want to take a very close look at that, especially if you're not connected to an earth sign. Remember, this could be a Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. So we're going to let him chill out right there. It seems very quiet. Like if you're just hanging out, sitting on the porch and nothing's happening. That's the vibe I'm picking up. Now, moving to the middle, we go from nothing to everything. We have the tower. So again, it could be a Scorpio if you're connected to a Scorpio or have Scorpio placements yourself. But this is a card that a lot of people get nervous about. I don't get nervous about any card because again, it's just energy and energy is always flowing. But the tower itself, if we take that Scorpio stuff and put it to the side, is pretty shocking. It's an energy that comes in out of the blue. So not every tower is a bad tower. Sometimes a tower can be a good thing. It could be a good shakeup. It could represent hitting the reset button. But again, it could represent endings. It can represent a little bit of pain or just something that hit you out of nowhere. So we want to see, is this a good tower or is this one we need to be a little cautious about? Is this a warning or not? That's what I'm looking for with this card. It can also represent karmic energy. So karmic cycles, karmic situations, karmic lessons, people catching a dose of karma. It could be all that. So we'll see what's up. The tower is very, very powerful though. Moving to the back end, we have another energy that seems to keep it contained. And that's what I'm seeing here, like with the Knight of Pentacles here and the angel here. It's like keeping the tower, the intensity contained, which might be good, but we have temperance. So big Sagittarius vibes if you're not connected to Sagittarius or have Saggy placements yourself. I always say, first and foremost, card of spiritual protection that has the Archangel Michael on it, the spiritual defender. So again, we saw it with the first card. Maybe this is spirit saying like, hey, Leo, we got your back, or hey, Leo, we're watching over you. Even though there's a tower here, you're safe. So that's something I really love with this card. But it does have some of the similar downsides to the Knight of Pentacles here, where, yeah, it can represent delays. It could represent something that feels stuck or something that's not moving how you'd like it to move. But one thing I will say about temperance, whether it's you practicing patience or recovery of some kind, The Temperance card to me is doing a lot of alchemy, spiritual alchemy. Because notice, see what he's doing with those cups there? Water, water. So it looks like not much is happening on the outside, but underneath the surface, there's something bubbling. And then here we have the Queen of Wands as your bonus card. So a card that represents you, yourself, self confidence, how you view yourself. Spirit could be saying, like, hey, Leo, be kind to yourself, be understanding. But usually I love this card, the Queen of Wands. It could also deal with aesthetics or looks. So you might be changing something about your look, but make sure you're being kind to yourself. I want to dive deeper on all this, Leo. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. See what's happening for the lovely Leos. And yeah, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the Knight of Pentacles. And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Leo, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, let's get this Knight of Pentacles here. Why is the Knight of Pentacles here, please? Oh, okay. Chill. It feels very calm. So whether it's advice for some of you, the Nine of Swords in reverse underneath the Knight of Pentacles, it's like it's very, very quiet, maybe a little too quiet. So again, for some of you, watch out for any things like that where it's like, not much seems to be going on. The one downside to this, you might be getting bored of something, or you could get bored very easily, where it's like, this energy makes me feel like I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs, or it's like, not much is happening. What's going on here? It just seems very quiet, like I'm hearing crickets. So again, for some of you, this could actually be a very good thing. If you've been going through some hectic times or things have been a little bit wild, this is an energy where there's a strong reprieve, where you can like take a minute, take a breath. So I love the calming nature here, but remember, we still have all this other stuff to go. Nine of Swords, when it's in the upright, is stressed, it's anxious, it's nervous, it's losing sleep. So the fact that it's in reverse underneath this Knight of Pentacles, it's like there's no reaction, there's no action. The energy is just kind of there. So watch out for all those feelings I just spoke about, where it's like it's a little too quiet, like it's very quiet, because we have a tower coming up. So we want to look into that further. We're just going to keep this here. If this is a message, I mean, with the Knight of Pentacles and the Nine of Swords in reverse, it could be reassurance or a message that makes you feel better. Let's go in. I'm skeptical about it. I'm not going to lie. Let's go in on the tower, because it just feels like it's quiet, but a little too quiet. I don't know why that's coming up, but let's go in on the tower, see what that has. I really want to get over to Temperance as well. So why is the tower here? Thank you. Okay, I mean, we have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. This is like a shocking shift of energy or a change. Now, again, not all change, not all shifting energy has to be a bad thing, but notice we have a little theme starting to build where we go from this calm, relaxed, stable energy. The Queen of Pentacles is very similar to the Knight of Pentacles. If you're connected to an earth sign here, they might be acting a little wild, so just watch that. But even if you're not connected to an earth sign, when I see her, I think of balance, I think of steadiness, I think of predictability, I think of day-to-day routine and schedule. When she shows up in reverse, that is a change, that is a shift. So whether it's a change in someone, a change in a situation, it's like it shocks me. It does. And I don't think it's bad for all of you, I really don't. But the energy just, it goes from 0 to 100. So for some of you, this could be a warning. For some of you, this could be what you're dreaming of. If there's something you've been wanting, or something you've been manifesting, or something you've been working towards, it just comes in out of the blue. So first, I feel like half of you, it's a warning. So just be careful what you wish for, be careful what you manifest in. But for another portion of you, it's like, oh no, this is actually good. It's like I'm finally getting all the results that I've wanted. It's like pouring in, like it's like the floodgates open. So let's keep moving. I don't want to make it a bad thing, but it just feels like a shocking change or a shocking shift of energy, and that could show itself in a lot of different ways. Whether someone is changing, whether you're changing, your emotions are changing about something. It's quick. It's very quick. It's like overnight. Let's go in on Temperance. I usually like a slow build in my personal life. This one's like, doop, like out of the blue. But hopefully it's something you're wishing for. Let's see what's up with the Temperance card. Thank you. Okay. And then quiet again. All right, so we have the Ten of Pentacles. This is usually a very good card. So there could be something where you just need to either go through the process or let it do what it's going to do. That's the vibe. And again, we could go in with what we have here in the front where the energy shifts and changes, sure. But the Ten of Pentacles, the clarifier that just came out, is a beautiful card. It's expansive. It represents home and family, and it's stable and abundant. So I love it. Underneath Temperance, it's just holding firm. So for a lot of Leos or cross watchers, there could be something going on where spirit's like, all right, whatever is going on, whether you're here or there or somewhere in the middle, spirit just wants you to let something do what it needs to do. Just let it go through whatever process it needs to go through, let it work itself out. Like that's the big energy I'm picking up here. Because if you don't force it, you get the better result. So again, I know that's a very specific message there, but it's like if you don't force it, you will get a better result. So this could be a payoff or a win in the end, absolutely, if you navigate something properly. That's the vibe I'm picking up because it's like, all right, the more you just chill out and just let something go through whatever it needs to go through, it's like a trust the process type of energy. Like trust the process, Leo. Like let it do what it's going to do. So let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow. So an intriguing mixture of stuff. I mean, we do have a very good ending here, especially with a card that the Tower's in the mix. But if you look here in the box, position number one, we have the Knight of Pentacles, Nine of Swords in reverse. It felt like crickets. It felt like quiet, maybe a little too quiet. So again, if you feel something coming, if you feel it in your intuition, maybe that's what Spirit's trying to tell you. Like, all right, now you do feel something approaching, Leo. But it even is borderline boring. Like it's like kind of dull. But that does change big time. We move into the Tower with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. That's a shocking shift or change of energy. So again, whether it's your feelings, emotions, a situation flips and does a 180, like there's this energy where it just boom, floodgates open and everything starts pouring in. So for some of you, that's great. For some of you, it's a little chaotic. Now, on the back end, we do have Temperance with the Ten of Pentacles in the upright. Regardless if it's a good or chaotic thing, Spirit just wants you to like hold tight, hold firm, and just let something do what it's going to do. Trust the process and let something work out its stuff. That's the main vibe I'm picking up here. So no controlling. Don't try to control it. So we're just going to leave it at that. Leo, let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. Let's see what we got for our Leo friends. And yeah, you can take a screenshot of that. But yeah, I always like to pull a shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this shadow card going. What do we got? What do we got? Cool. Temperance. Temperance again. So just like that theme, that little advice that we got here on the back end, it's the same thing showing up in the shadows. Now, yes, this does look a little scary, but just let's remember what we saw in the very beginning, that beautiful spiritual protected angelic energy. So we start with spiritual protection. It shows up in the main part of the spread with the spiritual protection, and we see it in the shadows again. So this is a very, very firm theme, especially for those of you going through a tower moment or have recently gone through a tower where you're going through a really powerful change. Spirit is with you. It's like we're guiding you, we're helping you. So I think that's a beautiful thing. Now, the thing with temperance, we'll talk about the shadow side because it is an energy that could feel stuck when we look at the shadow, where it's like, am I ever going to get back to normal, or is something ever going to improve? So you might get frustrated by certain things, but I think the advice remains the same with what we saw with temperance within the main part of the spread, where spirit just wants you to let something work through or work out what it needs to, where it's like the less you try to control it, the better, where it's just like trust the process. That's a big thing here. So I love the spiritual protection. Just watch out for frustration. So we're going to let him chill right over there, Leo. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet. I'm going to give you the details. The February subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, you could book a personal reading with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com, so we could have a little chat. My February calendar is up, so go check that out. They usually go pretty quick. But for the February subscriber surprise, we're doing a nice different style this month. We're doing a winner's choice. So the winners, which will be three, will have their choice of the Tarot of the Owls, the Gilded Tarot Royale, or a handmade crystal pendant from my shop, mastermetaphysics.com, once again. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's two simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the cards we saw in this week's reading, which one caught your attention the most, whether it really inspired you or hit you right in your feelings. Anyone that stood out to you, and you'll be entered to win. And at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.